Hello, darling. You've joined me back. So, Richard Hart has just done his stream, and everyone's disappointed because there is no specific date for PulseChain. And I've made a tweet here which sheds some light as to what's going on. So I've written here, you might be frustrated at PulseChain Delay, but that's because you've never had to manipulate a large group of people, aka marketing. So don't lose sight of this. That's really what it is at the end of the day. Marketing is manipulating a large group of people. But using that word manipulation, it might trigger you because a lot of us just have emotional responses and we tie ourselves to leaders, thought leaders, people who we think are doing good to the world. But really, at the end of the day, it's very interesting. When there's a leader out there who's popular and you don't really follow them, you can really see through them. You can understand, maybe they're not the cleanest whistle, right? It's very easy to see with politicians, for example, but everyone does it. I've got here, US presidents do it. You have Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Donald Trump. Steve Jobs did it. Elon Musk does it today. And Elon is very obvious because we're in crypto, right? We have all the details. And now, crypto coin founders do it. I'm going to make a video to explain. This is exactly what we're going through now. So when you see delays like this, you can't let yourself be too upset because Richard Hart knows stuff about markets that you don't. And I know stuff that I'm going to share with you. I wish I knew this in the early days, but you didn't have things like Uniswap and other tools to help you. So when it comes to analyzing what's really going on, we can use tools to our advantage. So PulseChain launch, all right? So for 7 months, I've been saying PulseChain launch is timed. And people misinterpret this. They think it's ready to go and it's sitting in the back. No. So I've mentioned here, Hex was launched after the muscular crypto recovery in 2019. He wants to repeat the successful launch of that. Vitalik knows the PulseChain launch date. That's tongue-in-cheek, right? So I think Richard Hart is continuously adding to-do items for devs every month until ETH clears $1,800. Let's look at this chart. Hex was launched at this point. Bitcoin went higher as a retracement, but you get the point. So there was let's get the pen out. There was a muscular recovery off the low. Woohoo! We go up, and then, this recovery is basically the crypto isn't dead recovery. And then, okay, now it's time to go. Look where Hex got launched. So that's why I have a prediction, maybe that's what happens. First, we need the recovery. But I've got friends, man, using messaging me. Why? Why do that? Why not just launch it now? Get rid of everyone. And this is, you got to know this for life. In life, most of us listening, if you're listening to my message right now, let's get a chart out. Okay, you're listening to my message. So firstly, right, look who manipulates everyone. Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Vitalik, Satoshi did. These people know how to message. So I use the word manipulation because I like it, because that's really what it is. But it's sales, it's representation, it's messaging, all those. So it doesn't really matter what word we're going to focus on because that's irrelevant, right? We want to go to the crux of the issue. So here's Bitcoin chart and Hex launch around here. Okay, maybe we recover and then we settle down. Maybe PulseChain's going to come around somewhere here. Maybe. And you're wondering why. Why not just delay it right now? So I would do exactly what RH is doing right now. Exactly. And what I'm about to tell you, you're going to be humbled in life. So in life, there's a bell curve, yeah? We know there's a bell curve. And most likely, you're listening to me, we are in here. Me and you are in the 70 to 80%. We're in the 70 to 80%. We are people who, we don't get too excited about stuff most of the time. We're just normies. You could call us NPCs, right? That's the truth, right? So you're probably confused, wait, I thought we were the chosen ones. No, we're not. No, we're not. Everybody in here, we're just NPCs. People who make great entrepreneurial products, businesses, people who become politicians, People who have to move people, they understand the game. 70% of us, we don't do anything. We are useless. We are actually sheep. These people who they're targeting are the extremes. They target the extremes. So this is actually what we're looking for. We're looking for here. So in crypto, these are the FOMO buyers, right? And on the other hand, we have the FOMO sellers. We have the FOMO sellers. So in markets, you have bids and offers, right? Price up, price down. There are bids and offers everywhere. Who moves the market price? It's the people hitting market at the margin. They are buying and selling at the margin. They're not using limit orders, okay? So it's the same thing when you go through like politicians and like Vitalik and everyone else. They have to move the extreme. How do they move the extreme? They have to think about what are they going to do in their messaging, their sales, how do they implement code, whatever it is. They're producing a product. They have to think about how they energize the 15% here and the 15% here. And the beautiful part is we now have Uniswap, so I can actually show you what this represents in the market. That's the best part. That's why, man, we are living in one of the most interesting, greatest times. Crypto is changing the world. This is why I'm so passionate. This is why I'm here 18 hours a day. You could not do this and see this years ago. You couldn't. But now we can. This is edge, man. What I'm about to show you, I'm showing you the deep inner workings of markets. People in the stock market don't even know this. They don't. They just see numbers out there. All right, and now let's go to the juice. So I'm going to bring you up, on CoinGecko. So what I'm about to show you, Richard Hart knows this. But why I gave you this prep talk is because don't think he is like evil. Everybody does this. Steve Jobs knew this. Elon Musk knows this today. Politicians know this. Music artists, they know this. You got to get the top 10%, 15%. You got to get them energized. Once they start moving, you drag the middle. You drag us. We are in the middle. Once these people start moving, okay, let's highlight a different color. Once they start actually moving, everybody else follows. It's critical. It's really critical. In markets, this is FOMO buyers. And in sellers, in the sell side, this is panic sellers, all right? So you want to take advantage of these guys. So, right, we have CoinGecko. You can go through the market cap, yada, yada. This is what I wish I knew many years ago. But I'm not even sure if everyone knows this. So let's take a random coin here, Uniswap. Uniswap, rank 19. Its market cap, 4.3 billion. So most people think if a stock, if a crypto, if anything has a $4.3 billion valuation, you can exit like $1 billion of money worth. Isn't that it's a rational, it's very normal to think that, right? You'd think, okay, if it's worth $4.5 billion, can we kind of like remove, $500 million to $1 billion of money and like shrink it a bit? You can't. They don't work like this. Markets don't work like this. Bitcoin, gold, silver, houses, music, NFTs, doesn't matter what it is, you can't do this, right? Even the most deep liquid stuff out there. Even stocks and companies, you can't do this. You can't extract that much money. I used to think you could, but you can't. So let's see how much money you can actually extract. It's going to surprise you. And I'm going to tell you the flat out formula number here. It's about 5% of the market cap. Yes, that's right. It's such a small number, right? So 10% would be 400 million. You can't even get that out. You can only get 200 million. And by the way, when you extract that out, you have destroyed the price. What I'm going to do here is just show you a market sell order. Yeah, I've got 10 million here and it drops. This is $10 million and it drops uni by 80%. So you might say, hey man, but that's like, who's going to come and hit market that much? Every day there's buyers and sellers, but not all of them are hodling. There's like a net buy or a net sell. Okay, so this is just a rough number. You don't need to know the exact numbers here. You're missing the point if you do. The point I'm trying to make is this is such a wildly small number compared to what you probably thought. You probably thought when you see 4.4 billion, you're like, man, you should be able to get like $500 million out. And it applies to the stock market too. You can't actually extract that much money. So now you see, you can actually deduce logically, most of the valuation of assets comes from the whale holders. That is where the juice comes from. That's where the valuation comes from. The guys who are early, the guys who believe, or girls, they don't want to sell. They want to see it grow. So when you see a coin and something go down, it's not the big guys in charge wanting to see it down. Man, all of us want it to succeed. And now you're sitting here saying, my friend Somi, oh my God, you're telling me all it takes is like 5 to 10% of the weak hands to start getting out and you destroy the price? Yes, my friend, yes. I'm sorry, that's the truth of life. So remember what I started with. You're thinking, okay, how are we going to tie this together? Delaying PulseChain, what's that got to do with these entrepreneurs? What's that got to do with any of this, right? Now you see it has everything to do with it because there are weak hands right now. There are weak hands in this area, right? There are weak hands and we're going to have to give them a poopy emoji. They want to sell PulseChain, right? And if we launched in the past if we launched earlier, man, this whole year, I'm telling you now, yep, they would have sold. How much they would have sold? I believe would be minus 50, no, more than that, minus 75% from day one sacrifice. And you will say to me, no, man, but I look around and I see so many people believing. But look what I told you. It doesn't matter that 70% of us or the top 80% believe. It doesn't matter, friends. All that matters is the bottom 10%, a weak, soy-drinking, paper hand scum, and they want to get out, even at a big loss. People self-sabotage themselves all the time. It happens. These people move the price. This bottom 80%, this bottom 10%. It's true. Also, on the contrary, when times are good, the top 10%, the FOMOers, they hit market and move the price. We are just in for the ride. So your goal is of in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, your goal is to always be here. Your goal is to promise me you never become a paper hand selling the lows. Eat ramen noodles, work 3 jobs, go homeless, just don't sacrifice everything. Don't throw everything away if you don't have to, okay? Try not to ever be here. That's why the more you trade, you run the risk, you roll the dice. You know, you roll the dice that you will become a paper hand. You make the wrong move. So we are in here. That's why I'm saying, man, Donald Trump, he knows this. You got to get the top 10%. You got to get your hardcore base to go out there, right? Music artists know this too. All the politicians know this. Or every president knows this. That's how you get people motivate, come vote for you, all right? Steve Jobs knew this. I got to captivate the top 10 people who want to be early and cool to stuff. I got to motivate them. And then they drag the sheep. We are sheep. You can call us sheep, but we're too stable, man. Like, we're not impulsive. Do you get me? That's probably a better way to explain it. Like, we are not impulsive. We're not like, I got to get this. I got to sell that. We're not like that by default. But the people who are the ones who move. They're the price discovery people. And Richard Hart understands this. So now I've shown you that all it takes for Uniswap to destroy the price is like 10, 20, 30, $50 million sales. Okay? Even though the market cap is 4 billion. Disgusting, right? It's the same thing with Hex. It's the same thing with Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's the same thing with every asset, even stocks, Tesla, you name it. So by delaying PulseChain, right? I don't even want to use the word delay. It's more like we'll launch when we're ready. When you hear that, we'll launch when we're ready means Richard knows how to work a crowd. He knows. Like, he's not saying me and you and the 70% here that we're stupid. He knows, man. The bottom 10%, they are weak. They are weak and they're going to dump. But we have to remember they can be like groomed into not selling. We can get there. This happens when there's FOMO. When these people are FOMOing enough, these people take a turn. They take a turn, they sit back. And they don't do the selling anymore. You see this in the Bitcoin chart, right? All the panic sellers, they get overwhelmed. Look, the pumping. This just happens in assets when they keep going up. Happens in commodities especially, right? So if we are able to launch at a time when, let's talk real numbers, right? Bitcoin's recovered. Maybe Ethereum is $1,800. So I was using the Ethereum chart, $2,000. If we get there, effectively, we increase the odds that these paper hand scum, you know what? They need another emoji. They're toilet paper hands, okay? We increase the probability that these guys hold off. Because, like, this is how important it is. You know, when Uni, Chainlink, Hex, when anything's going up, Bitcoin, that's right, man. You know, up here, if just 10% of the size of Bitcoin wanted to get out, the price would be much, 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 much lower. There's not enough liquidity. They have to do it slowly. You know, and this is a long time, man. This is many, many, many months, okay? So you can't get out even a big, decent chunk size. Because you would think, man, oh, well, you know, Bitcoin up here had like $1 trillion market cap. And you were probably thinking, oh, you can extract like 200 billion. No, you can't. You could only extract like 50 billion. And 50 billion getting extracted would send it down like 80%. So you can't. That's why such a small amount of people actually cashed out everything. Very small amount. But this is why everyone wins. Because you can focus on two sides. If you're super skeptical, you're always going to focus on this. So I'm going to remember this and I'm going to remind you of this in the next bull market to euphoria. When we are pumping, right? Maybe Hex is $1.50. All the coins are pumping. Bitcoin's up to the moon, 100K, 150K. Chainlink's, Ethereum's like 10 to 14K. I'm going to remind you, hey man, markets are going to move on the downside one day because of the weakest marginal people. The people who FOMO, the top 15%, these are the price movers, the people who like impulsive, they also reverse and they're going to send us down. Once you get too many of them, people in this red area, you know you're entering danger. This is what happens at these extremes. So I would do the same. I would wait until PulseChain. I would wait for it too, man. I would wait until it's ready. Because if we're waiting till it's ready, at least, man, that bottom 15%, they're not going to be thinking about, let's just exit everything, I don't care, let's make them irrational, minus 80% loss. We might be able to launch PulseChain and everyone thinks, you know what, fair value is day one sacrifice, I don't feel like selling. And that's all it is. And yes, it's marketing, manipulation, messaging, what it is. This is what actually moves markets, man. The top and bottom, the marginal price setters, people going through price discovery. And we are just in for this ride. We're in for this ride, okay? And that's why the beautiful part is, these people with poopy hands, they eventually run out. And someone new comes in to replace them. Assets grow bigger, there's more USD fiat that gets thrown around the world, right? But it's just a matter of time. You need time on your side. So I'm not upset like, oh, PulseChain delay, this and that. It's not even really a delay, man. I would not launch here. There are poopies. There's too many poopies out here. I want it to pump, man. I don't care. And at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, where's the Bitcoin halvening? It is April 2024. Okay, Bitcoin halvening's here. When's 1 year after that? It's going to be here. Okay. And then where is another 6 months after that? Here. Around here. All right. Yeah. So maybe this is actually going to be the selling zone, right? Maybe somewhere here. So if this is the time zone when we're going to sell. So it doesn't even matter, man. Like I don't even care. And you shouldn't look, just take it easy, man. He can launch anywhere in this time, dude. I don't care. As long as you're launching like before April 2025, you can do whatever you want. And that's how you have to think too. Why? Why do I say this? Well, I've just explained to you. When do you get the biggest profits at all? It's when the network effect is growing the fastest. And when the network effect is growing, people are pumping the price. There's no more poopy hands. People want to get in and join the trend, okay? This far right-hand side. Historically, no guarantees. This can all go to zero. We know this. But historically, 1 year after the Bitcoin halving, for some reason, you guys, everyone gets a fever pitch and they just can't wait to start buying crypto for some reason, okay? That is when the marginal side, that's when the top this right-hand side, these people, this is when they're like, that's it, give me every freaking Ponzi token I can get. Real, legit, I don't care, NFTs, JPEGs, that's when they're coming for that. And that is when we want to be selling. We don't want to be selling here, man. This is, in this zone, this is like us, man. This is us in the 70% zone. You're not getting any edge here. So, it's not a disadvantage that it's been delayed at all. And this is my thinking. This is like, remember, what we do in here doesn't really matter. So we know at the end of the day, these are the people that are really going to move the price. Happen in Bitcoin here, right? These are the people. This is the marginal buyer. The marginal buyer. How do you think we get up here? We get up here because too many marginal buyers are coming. The top 15%. That's why, man. That's why. The top 15%. And actually, you know, why do we go down here? The bottom 10% just can't handle it anymore. Okay, so that's what we're going to hold for, man. Hold for the top 10, 15%. They can't wait. That's what we want to see. And everything else in between is just a waste of time. Until next time, friends, I love you all.